Hello there everybody, how is it going and how have you been? I am EuclideanSqd, and we're back here in Duel Links to check out the newest mini-box, Lords of Shining. Now, I already grabbed 500 gems, so we're just going to go ahead and open at least 20 packs, probably 30, just because this is a mini-box, so we're going to get to duplicates a lot faster than normal. And before we start opening cards, one thing that I want to say is I am probably going to misunderstand an effect or two. I am very, very, very tired right now. But I didn't want to delay on opening packs. I've been kind of having an itch to open packs, but I've been saving my gems since I saw that the mini box was announced, so let's go ahead and open some packs, shall we? Let's see, our first 10 packs. Will we get any ultras or super rares? We might have gotten one in the very first pack. Let's see. First off, we have Dark Lord Descent. Regular trap card. Pay half your life points. Special summon up to 2 Dark Lord monsters from your graveyard in defense position with the same level as one face-up monster your opponent controls. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I don't know enough about Dark Lords to know how good that trap card is. Next we have Power Angel Valkyria. Level 4 Light Fairy, 1800 attack, 1050 defense. So seems like this is another in the Valkyrie type of monsters, like Dark Valkyria, or weirdly enough, it shares a similar appearance to the other Valkyrias and has the same stats, but I think it's called like Duname's Dark Witch or something in English. But monsters like that, anyway. If you negate the activation of a spell, trap card, or monster effect, add 1 Light Fairy type monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Power Angel Valkyria once per turn. Alright, pretty straightforward. Probably wants to work with other counter fairies, if I had to guess. Just because that's more than likely how you're going to negate effects in the first place. But even so, an 1800 fairy is not bad. And we did indeed get a new super rare, and it looks like it's a Parshoth that I've never seen before. Sacred Arc Air Knight Parshoth. A level 9 Light Fairy. 2800 attack, 2300 defense. Let's see here, very tiny text. I don't know if you can read it on YouTube, but I think I can. If you activate a counter trap card, or if you negate the activation of a spell, trap card, or monster effect, except during the damage step, you can banish 2 other fairy type monsters from your hand, field, and or graveyard. Special summon this card from the graveyard, if it was there when you activated / negated, or hand even if not. Okay, so very, very long effect. But basically, if you get to activate a counter trap or negate one of your opponent's cards, you can banish 2 of your fairies from anywhere excluding the deck to special summon this card from your hand regardless. But if you basically, the latter part of this effect seems to be a clause saying that, like, you can't have discarded Sacred Arc Air Knight Parshoth as a cost for an effect or whatever. Like, if you're going to special summon this thing out of the graveyard, it has to have been in the graveyard before you activated your counter trap card or whatever let you negate your opponent's card. So, no sneaking around using Parshoth as a cost and then getting that cost refunded, so to speak, by just immediately special summoning it back. Anyway, the other half of the effect says, if this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. Fair enough. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can add 1 Parshoth card or 1 counter trap card from your deck to your hand. Alright, so it looks like this box is going to have several cards that want to work with counter traps and probably other counter fairies. So all those very weird looking ones like, what was it called, like Harvest Angel of Wisdom, I think is one, for example. Anyway. Dark Lord, oh good lord, I am not going to say this name correctly. Tezcatlipoca? I know I mispronounced that. I'm just going to call it Tez. Dark Lord Tez. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, level 9 Dark Fairy. Interesting, not a lot of Dark Fairies from what I know. 2800 attack, 2100 defense. If a Dark Lord monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can discard this card instead. Alright. During either player's turn, you can pay 1,000 life points, then target one Dark Lord spell trap card in your graveyard, apply that target's effect, then shuffle that target into the deck. You can only use this effect of Dark Lord Tez once per turn. You can only special summon a Dark Lord Tezcatlipoca once per turn. Tezcatlipoca. I think that's how you say it. I'm probably not. I don't know. But very interesting. So it seems like that's a very steep life point cost, but it looks like you can just mimic your Dark Lord spell trap cards in the graveyard. Like you can turn this thing's effect into that other card's effect. Only once per turn, of course, but that's very interesting. Although I don't know how it's supposed to work with the Dark Lord Rising, because I don't know of many level 9 monsters. But anyway. Mystic Clown, level 4 Fiend, Dark Fiend, 1500 attack, 1000 defense. Better than some of the garbage normals they usually include, but still not great. And Sky Scourge Invincil, level 6 Earth Fairy, 2200 attack, 1600 defense. This card cannot be special summoned. If you tribute summon this card by tributing one of the following monsters, this card gains the appropriate effect. If you tribute a light fairy type monster, you negate the effects of all spell cards. And if you tribute a dark fiend type monster, you negate the effects of all trap cards. Okay. Very fascinating. I can definitely see this thing. It's probably going to get some use. I don't know how good it's going to be in the metagame. I still don't know why I even talk about it. I haven't played it seriously in months. Anyway. Steel Swarm Caller. I believe this is available in a previous box, so this is a reprint card. Or maybe it was a selection box. I think it's available in another box right now, but anyway. Level 4 Dark Fiend, 1700 attack, 0 defense. When a Steel Swarm monster is tribute summoned face up by tributing this card, you can special summon one level 4 or lower Steel Swarm monster from your deck. And I believe that is kind of the thing with the Steel Swarms, is that the lower level ones are generally good at swarming or otherwise getting a lot of themselves on the field that you can then tribute for the really high level ones, which have very powerful effects, but I think only if you tribute someone with Steel Swarms or some requirement like that. Moving on, Dark Lord Nasten. Level 7 Dark Fairy, 2600 attack and defense. You can discard 2 other Dark Lord cards, special summon this card from your hand. During either player's turn, you can pay 1000 life points, then target one Dark Lord spell trap card in your graveyard, apply that target's effect, then shuffle that target into the deck. You can only use this effect of Dark Lord Nasten once per turn. You can only special summon Dark Lord Nastens once per turn. Alright. So I'm going off of just Nasten and Tez. It seems like they're all going to share that effect of you can pay life points to mimic your Dark Lord spell and traps in the graveyard. I'm guessing they're going to have some other secondary effect on top of that, but very interesting. And then Rebirth of Parshoth. Counter trap card. When a spell, trap card, or monster effect is activated, reveal one counter trap card in your hand, then discard a card and pay 1000 life points. Negate the activation, and if you do, shuffle that card into the deck. Then you can special summon one Parshoth monster from your deck or extra deck. Alright, so this is generally going to be a counter trap that you are probably going to want to use along with that, oh god, what was its name? Avenging, or Arc Air Knight Parshoth, or whatever the hell it was called. Interesting. That might also have some use for the, well, actually just any farming deck where you substitute in Neo Parshoth the Sky Paladin for Winged Dragon of Ra. Because that might let you just summon it easier. Providing you have other counter trap cards, of course, but anyway. Minerva, Scholar of the Sky. Level 4 Light Fairy, 1700 attack, 400 defense. Each time a counter trap card is activated, sorry about that, just want to check the volume levels real quick. Each time a counter trap card is activated, immediately after it resolves, this card gains 500 attack, and if it does, and the Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field, add one counter trap with a different name from your graveyard to your hand. That's going to get annoying. That's going to get very, very annoying. Because effectively you could activate a counter trap, recover one from your graveyard, immediately set that one. Then later, when you meet the activation requirements, activate that one, recover the first, repeat infinite for just endlessly. That's going to be very, very annoying. Then we have X-Saber Urbellum, level 7 Earth Warrior Synchro, 2200 attack, 1300 defense. Accepts any tuner and non-tuners. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent while they have 4 or more cards in their hand, place one random card from their hand on top of their deck. That's a pretty good effect, just because it does effectively stall out your opponent, sort of. I mean, if they have a lot of spell and trap cards, they could probably set some cards to put their or reduce their hand size. But anything that kind of keeps them from drawing new cards is a good effect, although albeit pretty rare. Then Widespread Dud, continuous trap card. Select 2 face-up attack position monsters on the field. When any of the selected monsters are removed from the field, destroy this card. When this card is destroyed, destroy the selected monsters. Ooh, that could be fun. So, like, imagine activating this, linking, quote-unquote, 2 of your opponent's monsters, attack position monsters, then manually destroying this thing with something like, what's the spell card? Is it Parallel Twister or Double Cyclone or something like that? There's a spell card that lets you destroy one of your own spell and traps, and then destroy either a spell or trap of your opponent's or just any card of your opponent's. So imagine combining that thing with Widespread Dud. Taking out 2 of their monsters and a spell or trap card. That's going to be a nasty combo. Or just, anything that destroys Widespread Dud. That's going to be an interesting trap card. Okay, here's a low level one. Dark Lord Ukobak. Level 3 Dark Fairies, 700 attack, 1000 defense. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can send 1 Dark Lord card from your deck to the graveyard. You can only use this effect of Dark Lord Ukobak once per turn. So it looks like I was wrong about the paying life points to mimic spell and trap cards. Looks like that's probably only going to be an ability shared by the high level ones, but moving on. Another Invincible, and the Sanctum of Parshoth. Oh good. It's a continuous spell card. This card's name becomes the Sanctuary in the Sky while on the field or in the graveyard. Fairy type monsters on the field gain 300 attack and defense. Set spells and traps cannot be targeted by or destroyed by card effects. That's going to be awful. Once per turn, you can target a total of 3 fairy type monsters and or counter traps with different names in your graveyard. Place them on top of your deck in any order. How is this thing a rare? Are we serious? This is a rare. Like, even if you don't do counter traps, like, just stick this in any sort of fairy deck, and you never have to worry about things like Dust Tornado or Galaxy Cyclone or Cosmic Cyclone or anything going after your set trap cards. So you never have to worry about your opponent getting rid of a Widespread Ruin or a Wall of Disruption or a Floodgate Trap Hole or anything. All your fairies get stronger. And Sanctuary in this, it's treated as Sanctuary in the Sky, so any Parshoth monsters, their effects get activated. Because I think they all rely on you having the Sanctuary in the Sky, which is typically a field spell, but oh god, that card's going to be annoying. I can see that thing popping up in a lot of Vagabond decks. Dark Lord Edda Array. Again, probably mispronouncing that. Too tired to care. Level 5 Dark Fairy, 2300 attack, 2000 defense. If this card is special summoned from the graveyard, it gains this effect. It does piercing battle damage. Alright, pretty scary. Double X-Saber Garsen, this is a reprint card. Level 4 Earth Beast, 1400 attack, 400 defense. When this card is When this card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard by a card effect, add one X-Saber monster from your deck to your hand. This card gains 200 attack for each face-up X-Saber monster you control. And in case you are wondering, yes, XX Sabers count as X-Sabers. So it immediately gains 200 attack and goes up to 1600. And then, this is a cool looking monster, Dark Lord Morningstar. 2, 4, 6, 8, is that 11? 1, 3, 7, I think, yeah, level 11 Dark Fairy, 3000 attack and defense, cannot be special summoned. If this card is tribute summoned, you can special summon Dark Lord monsters from your hand and or deck up to the number of effect monsters your opponent controls. That's scary. While you control another Dark Lord monster, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Also scary. Once per turn, you can send cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard equal to the number of Dark Lord monsters on the field, and if you do, gain 500 life points for each Dark Lord card sent to the graveyard by this effect. Not bad. Not bad. I'm sure there's stuff to help you tribute summon. Double Costin is a thing. It's just a monster that lets you treat it as 2 tributes for a dark. And I'm pretty sure level 11s only require 2 tributes unless they say otherwise. Steel Swarm Scout. Level 1 Dark Fiend, 200 attack, 0 defense. At the start of your main phase 1, if you control no spell trap cards, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. You cannot special summon another monster the turn you activate this effect. Alright, so no special summoning this thing and then using it as synchro material. While this card is face up on the field, it cannot be tributed except for the tribute summon of a Steel Swarm monster and cannot be used as a synchro material monster. Okay, so it just can't be used as synchro material ever. Interesting, so if it's early in the duel, you could get it back and then tribute for a 5 or a 6 Steel Swarm. Double Knight Gwalchvad, another reprint, level 4 Light Warrior, 1500 attack, 1800 defense. This card is treated as a normal monster while face up on the field. While equipped with a Noble Arms equip spell, this card becomes an effect monster with the following effect. You can target 1 Noble Knight monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand, and if you do, destroy 1 Noble Arms equip spell card you control. You can only use this effect of Noble Knight Gwalchvad once per turn. Pretty self-explanatory. Destroys your equip spells to bring back your other Noble Knights. And if I remember correctly, a lot of the Noble Arms equip spells have an effect that says that they will re-equip if there is a compatible monster on the field once per turn, if they are destroyed. Or at least one of them does. I don't know if they all do, but I know one does. So effectively, if you have that one, or theoretically all of them, equip it, destroy it, take back a Noble Knight, and just immediately re-equip it back on the Gwalchvad, no harm done. Infestation Terminus. Regular trap card. Target 1 Swarm monster you control and 2 cards your opponent controls. Banish the first target, and if you do, return the second targets to your hand. Swarm. I mean, obviously, like Steel Swarm, but does that imply that there's going to be other swarms? Probably. Did we get another one? Did we get another super rare? We might have. Dark Illusion. Counter trap card. When a spell, trap card, or monster effect is activated that targets a dark monster on the field, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Very nice card. Obviously, it only works if you have dark monsters, but pretty cool. Just opponent tries to use enemy controller, or give it a nasty equip spell, or I don't actually know. Does Amazoness Onslaught target? I don't think it does, but still pretty good counter trap all the same. Dark Lord Tezcatlipoca and Celestial Wolflord Blue Sirius. Level 6 Dark Beast Warrior Synchro, 2400 attack, 1500 defense. Accepts any tuner and non-tuners. When this card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. It loses 2400 attack. This is a very annoying monster. You smash it in battle, and whatever destroyed it is going to suddenly become so weak that your opponent can just get rid of it. Okay then. That's going to be annoying. XX Saber Garsem, Steel Swarm Cell. Level 1 Dark Fiend, no attack and defense. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. While this card is face up on the field, it cannot be tributed except for the tribute summon of a Steel Swarm monster and cannot be used as synchro material. And then Ignoble Knight of High Lonsalin. Level 5 Dark Warrior Synchro, 2100 attack, 900 defense. Accepts any tuner but requires one or more non-tuner Noble Knight monsters. When this card is synchro summoned, you can equip one Noble Arms equipped spell card from your deck to this card. At the end of the battle phase, if this card destroyed a monster by battle and sent it to the graveyard, you can add one Noble Knight or Noble Arms card from your deck to your hand. You can only control one Ignoble Knight of High Lonsalin. Ugh, that's gonna be annoying, because all the Noble Arms equipped spells are pretty dang good, including one that prevents the equipped monster from being destroyed once per turn. Yeah, that's gonna be fun to deal with. Gwalcheva, Dark Illusion, and we got an ultra rare! The White Stone of Ancients, level 1 Light Dragon tuner, 600 attack, 500 defense. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can special summon one Blue Eyes monster from your deck. Alright then. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Blue Eyes monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only use this effect of the White Stone of Ancients once per turn. Alright, not bad. So, it's a bit like White Stone of Legend, except instead of just adding a Blue Eyes White Dragon to your hand, it lets you special summon a Blue Eyes from your deck, so that's pretty cool. Alright, and 22 minutes to go through the first 10 packs because I like to ramble. Let's try and speed this up, shall we? Need some water, though. X-Saber Urbellum, Mystic Clown, Noble Knight Brothers. Level 4 Level 4 Light Warrior, 1200 attack, 2400 defense. This card can only attack if you control exactly 3 Noble Knight monsters and no other monsters. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon up to 2 Noble Knight monsters from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except Noble Knight monsters. Once per turn, you can target 3 Noble Knights and or Noble Arms cards in your graveyard, shuffle all 3 into the deck, then draw 1 card. Alright, not bad. I mean, doesn't have the greatest attack power, but really, really respectable defense. Dark Lord Descent, Dark Lord Contact. Spell card. Special summon 1 Dark Lord monster from your graveyard in defense position. You can only activate 1 Dark Lord Contact per turn. Alrighty then. So that's pretty good. You find some way of getting a bigger Dark Lord into the graveyard, use this to just revive it straight away. And Rebirth of Parshoth. Got an itch on my nose. Noble Knights of the Round Table. A field spell card. During your end phase, you can activate each of these effects up to once per turn, depending on the total number of Noble Knight cards with different names in your graveyard and or you control. 3 or more, send 1 Noble Knight card from your deck to the graveyard. 6 or more, special summon 1 Noble Knight monster from your hand, then you can equip 1 Noble Arms equipped spell card from your hand to that monster. 9 or more, target 1 Noble Knight monster in your graveyard, add that target to your hand. And 12, draw 1 card. Interesting that it says 12 and not 12 or more. So I guess that means if you have 13, you can't draw a card. Wow. Interesting. Ignoble Knight and Rebirth of Parshoth. Dark Lord Tez, Steel Swarm Caller, Ignoble Knight. Yeah, as expected, now that we're 10 packs in, well, 15 packs in actually, we're going a lot faster because of all the duplicates. Steel Swarm Cell. Steel Swarm Grastag. Level 7 Dark Fiend, 2600 attack, 0 defense. You can tribute summon this card in face-up attack position by tributing 1 Steel Swarm monster. That's pretty cool. When this card is tribute summoned by tributing a Steel Swarm monster, you can target one card your opponent controls, send that target to the graveyard, and gain 1,000 life points. I like this thing. Especially because you can combo it pretty well with that Steel Swarm Cell. So, say you go second, or it's just a little bit later on in the duel and you don't have any monsters. Special Summon Cell, tribute for Gearstag, send your opponent's worst monster or a face down card or whatever to the graveyard, and you get 1,000 free life points. Gearstag's pretty cool. Steel Swarm Scout, Stuffed Animal. Thanks for the nightmares. Level 3 Earth Warrior, 1200 attack, 900 defense. It's your normal monster. It's awful stats. I wouldn't use it. Dark Lord Nesten. Noble Knights of the Round Table, Steel Swarm Cell, Steel Swarm Gearstag. Are we getting another super rare? Or did we get the ultra rare? I think we got the pack monster. Anyway, Gwynethar, Queen of Noble Arms, probably mispronouncing that. Level 2 Light Spellcaster, 300 attack and defense. Very tiny attacks, let's see here. You can target one Noble Knight monster you control, equip this card from your hand or graveyard to that target. Great, so it comes out of the graveyard. You can only use this effect of Gwynethar, Queen of Noble Arms, once per turn. The equipped monster gains 300 attack. Apply the appropriate effect depending on the attribute of the equipped monster. If it is a light, if the equipped monster would be destroyed by a card effect, you can destroy this card instead. Dark, if the equipped monster battles an opponent's monster, at the start of the damage step you can destroy that monster, then destroy this card. Wonderful! Oh, that's so awful. I mean, thankfully the Dark Noble Knights are a lot rarer than the light ones, but like your opponent can just put this thing on a Dark Noble Knight, attack your monster, destroy it without having to worry about damage. Sure, they lose this, but then if you don't get rid of the Dark Noble Knight next turn, they can just do it again, and again, and again. Ugh. This thing's gonna be a pain. Noble Knight Ultrafied, and we did get the pack monster! The cover monster, whatever the words are flubbing. Ah. Ugh, I am tired. I told you this. Level 8 Light Warrior Elemental Hero The Shining. Level 8 Light Warrior Fusion, 2600 attack, 2100 defense. Looks like it's among the other elemental heroes in that accepts any elemental hero and any light monster as fusion material, so similar to elemental hero Gaia, which wanted a hero and a earth monster, or what was it, elemental hero Escuradio or whatever, that takes an elemental hero and a dark monster. Must be fusion summoned and cannot be special summoned by other ways. This card gains 300 attack for each of your banished elemental hero monsters. That's interesting. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target up to 2 of your banished elemental hero monsters, add those targets to your hand. Actually, now that I think about it, I think there's an old structure deck that was introduced, like, around this time last year, probably, that had a bunch of light attribute elemental heroes that liked banishing themselves. What were they, like, elemental hero Voltic and elemental hero... I can't remember, but they all looked like... They all kind of looked like Sparkman, except they had similar sort of thunder or electric sounding names, but they all had effects, and a lot of them revolved around banishing. I vaguely remember that. So hyped I got the cover monster. Steel Swarm Scout, Gwalchavad, and Cursed Armaments. Equip spell card. The equipped monster loses 600 attack for each monster you control. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, equip it with this card. Ugh. That's awful, because you can just equip this thing to an opponent's monster straight away. You have even one monster, your opponent's monster loses 600 attack, you destroy it, and this thing will just re-equip to any other monster that they currently have. And granted, you can get around it by just setting a monster, but... ugh. There are some cards in this deck that I really like, some that I find really interesting, and others that I see as just being a big pain in the ass. Dark Lord Descent, Power Angel Valkyria, Steel Swarm Gearstag. Alright. Not bad. So 2 of the ultra rares and 2 of the super rares in 20 packs. Let's go ahead and open up 10 more, shall we? And then I think I'll go through. Because, like I said, I'm tired and I want to go to bed. Steel Swarm Cell. So duplicate XX Saber Ragagura. Level 1 Earth Beast Warrior, 200 attack, 1000 defense. When this card is normal or special summoned, you can add 1 X-Saber monster from your graveyard to your hand. Okay. Interesting. I'd prefer special summoning this thing, because if you normal summon it, you have a 200 attack point monster, which is very easy to destroy. But anyway. Sanctum of Parshoth. Dark Lord Edda Array, Dark Elysian, Dark Lord Nastin, Mystic Clown, Noble Knight Brothers, the Sanctified Dark Lord. Trap card, send 1 Dark Lord monster from your hand or face it from your field to the graveyard. Negate the effects of 1 effect monster on the field until the end of this turn, and if you do, gain life points equal to its attack. You can only activate 1 Sanctified Dark Lord per turn. You know, that's actually not a bad trap card. Being able to just negate an effect monster's ability for a turn. I mean, say, like, for example, the 6 Samurai deck, or the new 6 Samurai deck, I should say, that the Vagabond seems to always have for me. Like that, the Synchro Monster, Legendary 6 Samurai Sheet N, or whatever that thing is. Like, well, the only downside with this example is that Shien can negate a spell or trap card itself once per turn, so you'd have to bait his effect out with something else, then use the Sanctified Dark Lord to lock down his effect so you can actually destroy it instead of letting it destroy a different 6 Samurai instead. So, not a great example, but this can definitely be pretty good. And I mean, there's that other Dark Lord spell card that lets you revive one out of your graveyard. So you use this, send a high-powered Dark Lord from your hand to the graveyard, use the spell card, revive it. Pretty sweet. I'm actually kind of liking these Dark Lords. Steel Swarm Scout, Power Angel Valkyria, Infestation Terminus. Did we get the last Ultra Rare? No, we got another Super Rare. Minerva, Scholar of the Sky, Sanctified Dark Lord, and Dark Lord Desire. 2, 4, 6, 8. Level 10 Dark Fairy, 3000 attack, 2800 defense. Cannot be special summoned. You can tribute summon this card by tributing 1 Fairy type monster. That's pretty cool. Once per turn, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls. This card loses exactly 1000 attack, and if it does, send that target to the graveyard. Very nice. I mean, unfortunately it seems permanent, but you could also just put Dark Lord Desire in defense mode. 2800 defense. Just start pinging away your opponent's big scary monsters that could possibly get past it. Not bad. Steel Swarm Scout, Edda Array, XX Saber Rakagura, Rebellon, Descent, Dark Lord Morningstar, Clown, Scholar, Infestation, Infection. Continuous trap, sorry. Once per turn, you can shuffle 1 Illsworn monster from your hand or face it from your side of the field into the main deck. Then add 1 Illsworn monster from your deck to your hand. Interesting. You know, this 10 went really fast. I'm going to do another 10 because I want to. Queen of Noble Arms. I know I said I'm tired, but I want to open another pack of 10. I'm having fun. Steel Swarm Cell, Dark Lord Morningstar, Cell, Edda Array, Morningstar. I'm having good luck tonight. Like, 30 packs, 2 Ultra Rares, and 3 Super Rares. I promise, though. This will be the last 10, and then we'll check out the rest of the cards. I don't want to dump too many gems in right now. Steel Swarm Cell, Stuffed Animal, Cursed Armaments, Cell, Widespread Dud, Sanctum of Parshoth, Gwalchavad, Karsem, Dud, Dark Elysian, Tezcatlipoca, Noble Knight Brothers, Gotham Second Call. Spell card. If you control an X-Saber Synchro monster, you can target 2 X-Saber monsters in your graveyard, Special summon both targets, ignoring their summoning conditions, but change their attack to 0, also destroy them during the end phase of this turn. You can only activate one Gotham second call per turn. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this card. Alright, so I clearly see the point of the spell. The idea is you synchro summon, you immediately use Gotham second call, revive the stuff that you spent on the synchro summoning, and then immediately synchro summon again. Lady of the Lake. Level 1 light aqua tuner, 200 attack, 1800 defense. Cannot be used as a synchro material except for the synchro summon of a warrior type monster. If this card is used for a synchro summon, banish it. Alright. When this card is normal summoned, you can target one Noble Knight normal monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one level 5 Noble Knight monster you control, reduce its level by 1, and if you do, special summon this card from the graveyard. Okay, so Lady of the Lake is very clearly meant for you to summon that Ignoble Knight High Lansolin, or whatever the hell it's called. And Noble Arms Caliburn, a reprint card. Yep, and I was right. I think all Noble Arms equipped spells have the self-reviving effect, because this was not the one that I was thinking of that had that ability. Anyway, this is an equipped spell. You can only control one Noble Arms Caliburn. Equip only to a warrior type monster, it gains 500 attack, and once per turn, you can gain 500 life points. Additionally, if this face-up card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target one warrior type Noble Knight monster you control and equip this card to that target. You can only use this effect of Noble Arms Caliburn once per turn. So, yeah. Basically, if you try to destroy it with a spell or a trap card, or heck, even if its equipped monster is beaten in battle, if your opponent has another warrior type Noble Knight, this thing can just immediately fly right back out of the graveyard and equip to that thing instead. Trying to keep Noble Arms in the graveyard is one of the most infuriating things ever. XX Saber Garcim, Ignoble Knight of High Lansolin, Sanctified Dark Lord, Dark Lord Amdusk, level 6 Dark Fairy, 1800 attack, 2800 defense. Let's see here. You can discard this card and one Dark Lord card, then target one Dark Lord card in your graveyard, add it to your hand. During either player's turn, you can pay 1000 life points, target one Dark Lord spell trap card in your graveyard, apply that target's effect, then shuffle that target into the deck. You can only use each effect of Endisk once per turn, and you can only special summon Endisks once per turn. Okay. So, generally seems like... Actually, that's a... I just realized you could use a Dark Lord like Amdisk or Testin or whatever to mimic that spell card that lets you special summon a Dark Lord from the graveyard. So like you use that spell, summon one of the Dark Lords, use their effect, pay 1000 life points, mimic the spell, special summon another Dark Lord. I'm really liking these things the more I think about it. Noble Knights of the Round Table, and Ignoble Knight, Stuffed Animal, Minerva, Caliburn, Lady of the Lake, Amdisk, Infestation Infection, and Urbilum, Lady of the Lake, and Girastag. Alright, so odds are we probably got most of the cards considering this is a mini box, so let's go ahead and go through. The only ultra rare I did not get is the Deep Grave. Target one monster in either player's graveyard. During your next standby phase, special summon it from the graveyard. Wow. So it's a trap card and delayed version of Monster Reborn. That's kind of awesome. Now I'm actually kind of mad I didn't get it. I want this trap card. That's awesome. Like, especially because you can just pick something out of your opponent's graveyard too. Ow. Just hit my fingers on the desk. In terms of the super rares we did not get, there is Dark Lord Ixchel. Probably mispronouncing that. Level 10 Dark Fairy, 2500 attack, 2900 defense. You can discard this card and one Dark Lord card. Draw 2 cards. During either player's turn, you can pay 1000 life points, target a Dark Lord spell trap, apply that effect, and shuffle it into the deck. You can only use each effect of Ixchel. Okay. Yeah, so it seems like, well, actually, aside from Morningstar, which seems like it might be the quote-unquote leader of all these monsters, the really high-level Dark Lords all have that mimicking effect that you can do once per turn. That's pretty cool. Dark Lord Superbia, Level 8 Dark Fairy, 2900 attack, 2400 defense. When this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can target one fairy type monster in your graveyard except Superbia special summon that target. That is amazing. Always get this thing into the graveyard as quickly as possible so that you can use that special spell. You revive this thing, you get another Dark Lord for free. That's awesome. Oh my gosh, I want to play with the Dark Lords now. That sounds really bad, but... Or like any other context outside of Yu-Gi-Oh! That is cause for alarm, but these Dark Lord cards sound awesome. Steel Swarm Moth. Level 6 Dark Fiend, 2400 attack, 0 defense. When this card is tribute summoned by tributing a Steel Swarm monster, you can pay 1000 life points to target up to 2 cards your opponent controls. Return those targets to the hand. I don't really like returning to the hand effects, just because that doesn't really get rid of them. Your opponent can just immediately use them again on the next turn. Although if it is like a high level monster, or a synchro or a fusion monster, those don't actually go to the hand, those do go back into the extra deck. So that's kind of like destroying them, because then your opponent has to reinvest their summoning costs. But anyway, then we have, oh, Evil Swarms, that's right. Oh, I forgot that those are another Ill Swarm monster. Oh wow, so those spell and traps that I've been like, what are the other Ill Swarms? Those also work with Evil Swarms. That's cool. Anyway, Evil Swarm Mandragora. Level 4 Dark Plant, 1550 attack, 1450 defense. If your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon this card from your hand. That's nice. That's a really good synchro material monster. It's really good. XX Saber Fall Troll. Level 6 Earth Warrior, 2400 attack, 1800 defense. Cannot be normal summon set. Must be... excuse me. Must be special summoned from your hand by controlling 2 or more face-up X-Saber monsters. Cannot be special summoned by other ways. Once per turn, you can target a level 4 or lower X-Saber monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. Okay. So, considering we did get some X-Sabers that like to special summon things, or at least help you find them. I'm pretty sure there are some X-Sabers that do special summon other things. This thing can get annoying, but otherwise. Then we have Rico, Lightsworn Hunter, level 2 Light Beast, 200 attack, 100 defense, flip effect monster. Apply these effects simultaneously. You can destroy a card on the field, then send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. So like all Lightsworns, it has that discarding effect. But it's also effectively another Man-Eater bug, so that's pretty cool. And then Wiretap. I remember this thing from Dueling Officer Trudge. Counter trap card. When a trap card is activated, negate the activation, and if you do, shuffle that card into the deck. All the counter fairies will love this, but regardless, it's just a general pretty good counter trap, all things considered. Just any trap card your opponent tries to use, you just say no and send it back into the deck. It's pretty cool. And then it looks like we missed just one rare. XX Saber Emmer's Blade. Level 3 Earth Insect, 1300 attack, 800 defense. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one level 4 or lower X-Saber monster from your deck. Okay. So, that's going to be annoying. Just replaces itself. That makes it pretty easy to summon Fall Troll. Like, this thing is destroyed, replaces itself, you normal summon something else, you special summon Fall Troll. So yeah, very interesting pack. Very light and dark themed, which I guess kind of makes sense. Yeah, out of all these cards, the Dark Lords seem like they're going to be the most... Or, the Dark Lords are the ones that are appealing the most to me. After seeing the Evil Swarm, I have a much deeper appreciation for those cards that target Ill Swarms, so like... What was it? Infestation Infection? Yeah, so you can use this to shuffle back, like, Evil Swarms if you're using those. There was another one, I swear. Oh yeah, Infestation Terminus, so... Yeah, okay. Very interesting. Very interesting box. I see a lot of very annoying cards, especially all that Parshoth stuff and some of the counter traps, but anyway, that has been the Lords of Shining mini box. So, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all had a great time, and I hope you all have a great day. And I will see you all in the next one.